Long before the House of York rose in rebellion, the seeds of its claim were carried by another family, one almost crowned in their own right, the Mortimers. In the early 14th century, England was ruled by a deeply unpopular king, Edward II. His reign was marked by military failure, favoritism, and growing discontent among the nobles. But his greatest threat came not from abroad, but from within his own household. His queen, Isabella the She-Wolf of France, fierce, intelligent, and ambitious, joined forces with her lover, Roger Mortimer, to overthrow him. Together, they launched an invasion from France in 1326. Edward II was captured and forced to abdicate. His son, the 14-year-old Edward III, was placed on the throne, with Isabella and Mortimer ruling in his name. For 4 years, England was effectively under their regency. But young Edward III would not remain a puppet for long. In 1330, at just 18 years old, Edward seized power. Mortimer was arrested and executed. Isabella was spared, but exiled from court. Now fully in control, Edward III proved a strong and ambitious ruler. The Mortimers returned to prominence through marriage, not rebellion. Roger Mortimer's grandson, Edmund Mortimer, 3rd Earl of March, married Philippa Plantagenet, the only daughter of Lionel of Antwerp, the second son of Edward III. This union transformed the Mortimers from powerful nobles into potential heirs to the throne. Through Philippa, they carried a senior royal bloodline, older than that of the Lancastrian dynasty. Their son, Roger Mortimer, 4th Earl of March, was not only wealthy and influential, he was now the heir presumptive to the childless King Richard II. Richard formally named young Roger his successor, recognizing his descent from Lionel. Had fate played out differently, the Mortimers might have ruled as kings. But in 1398, before he could take the crown, Roger died suddenly in Ireland. His young son, Edmund Mortimer, inherited the title, but not the throne. In 1399, the fragile line of succession was shattered. Henry Bolingbroke, son of John of Gaunt, seized the throne from Richard II and became Henry IV. Young Edmund Mortimer, just a child, was taken into royal custody. Although the Lancastrian kings knew how dangerous his bloodline could be, they treated him honorably. Therefore, he never pressed his claim. He lived quietly, died without children, and passed the Mortimer legacy to his sister, Anne Mortimer. Anne Mortimer married Richard of Conisbrough, a York prince and son of Edmund of Langley, the 4th surviving son of Edward III. Their union was unremarkable at the time, but their son would be anything but ordinary. Richard, Duke of York, inherited the Mortimer claim, through his mother, Anne, descending from Lionel of Antwerp, the elder royal line. Through his father, he bore the name and title of York, directly linking him to another branch of the Plantagenets. He was more than a noble. He had double legitimacy. He was a man with a better claim than the king himself. The Lancastrian claim didn't begin with rebellion. It was seeded long before, through blood, land, and a controversial royal myth. Lancastrians traced their descent to Edmund Crouchback, Earl of Lancaster, the second son of King Henry III, and younger brother to Edward I. Crouchback may have referred to his service as a crusader, but later generations spun a different tale, that Edmund was the elder son, born before Edward I, and passed over due to deformity or disability. Though there's no historical proof this was true, the story lived on, used by later Lancastrian and Tudor loyalists to cast doubt on their rivals in the House of York. What is certain is that Edmund Crouchback's descendants were powerful. His son, Henry of Lancaster, became father of Henry of Grosmont, the first Duke of Lancaster. In 1359, John of Gaunt, son of Edward III, married Blanche of Lancaster, the daughter of Henry of Grosmont and heiress to one of England's greatest noble fortunes. Through Blanche, Gaunt inherited massive lands and titles, and their son, Henry Bolingbroke, was born into both royal blood and noble might. When Gaunt's son, Henry Bolingbroke, deposed King Richard II in 1399, the House of Lancaster became a royal dynasty. In 1399, King Richard II, the childless grandson of Edward III, faced rebellion from within. Seizing the moment, Bolingbroke returned from exile, deposed Richard, and crowned himself King Henry IV. And though the crown now sat on a Lancastrian brow, the question of who truly had the better claim was far from settled. In time, that question would tear the kingdom apart.